this workshop. So we got around 200 registration, and all are mainly are the faculty members of various positions like head, deans, and professors, associate professor, and few participants are research scholar and guest faculty, sir. So all are faculty members only, sir. So with this, I
Thank you,
invite
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you for the brief input about the program, and thank you for introducing me. It's a pleasure to deliver the session to University of Technology, Kharagpur. So, as Professor introduced, this is Dr. Shanmuganidhi, working in ITER Chennai, and in fact, I am very happy to deliver the session in the training program or workshop, which is examination reforms. Maybe I can say it's online FDP, because workshop means it has to be practice oriented. Fine. So in fact, I would like to give some more input. In fact, I am coordinator of the module called the Student Assessment and Evaluation of NITTT module. See, Government of India has initiated with the AICT and NITTTRs that National Initiative for Technical Teacher Training. That is a comprehensive training policy for technical teachers. So in the comprehensive training policies, there are 8 modules at the first level, stage 1. So which are all applicable to the inductee teachers who are all having less than 5 years experience, as well as for the teachers, aspiring teachers.
Google Map page.
Yes, sir. Yes. Please, NB, please mute your mic, sir. So, in fact, among the 8 modules, one of the important module is called student assessment evaluation. So, I have prepared that module, and it is available in the NITTT, that is SWAYAM Vertical 2. As well as I am a coordinator of question paper authoring, which is available in the SWAYAM platform. Then I have another course called LMS through Moodle. Again, it is available through SWAYAM platform. And this semester, I am planning pedagogical approach for Python programming. Again, it will be available in the SWAYAM platform. So we are developing many MOOCs, and the MOOCs are available in the SWAYAM platform. So I am also part of technology-enabled learning, which is also in the SWAYAM platform. So participants, please, the participants, please, I request to mute your mic, sir.
Okay.
NPG Bhavani, yes, I am audible to you. Yes, thank you. Then who else?
Sir, please unmute. I have muted all. Please unmute yourself.
Now it's okay, sir. Now I am audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. So you can enroll into those MOOCs, and you can get benefit over that. But particularly coming to this session, actually, what is the aim of the session is, already you had a discussion about Dr. Dinesh Kumar. He has explained about table of specification. So you are all aware of table of specification, but you must be aware of how the item has to be prepared for higher level. Okay, item has to be prepared for higher level. So that higher level thinking outcomes. Okay, that we are going to discuss, as well as I will move to the performance assessment. So both we will discuss today. So I hope this will be the interesting one, and the participant, you can enjoy the session. But I will give some of the one or two tools as a demo, so that you can enjoy the tool for self-assessment. That you can do that one. Okay. So I will share the entire screen. Hope my screen is visible to you. Is it visible to you, sir? My screen is visible to you? Yes. Yes. Fine. So just I know, as a faculty member, normally we all understand that without board it's very difficult for us to deliver the lectures. But however, I am using my notepad for the purpose of a board. Actually, when we talk about question items, right? So what are the types of question items? How you can make the students to think to give the answer? Almost, or I can say 100%, whatever the questions we are setting, all the questions are objective type of questions. Objective type of. What is the meaning? Somebody may wonder, what is that objective type of questions? Objective type of question means the question is having only one answer. You see, whatever the questions we are setting in the question paper, is it having more than one answer? We never asking those kind of questions, but you can ask the questions which can have more than one answer. But maybe 99% we follow that there is only one answer. The way of explaining the answer may be different. For example, I'm asking a question like, draw the neat architecture of 8086 microprocessor and explain. So somebody may draw the architecture and explain, and addressing mode, such sequence somebody will do. Somebody will first explain the architecture, then draw the diagram, then addressing mode, something like they will do. Or I'm asking that explain the round robin method of scheduling, process scheduling in the operating system with an example. So I will explain different type of scheduling for one paragraph. Then I will come to the round robin. Then I will explain the round robin. Then I take some sample process. Then I can schedule the process. Then I will demonstrate the output. But somebody will do in a different manner. So each student will write in their own way, but the answer is only one answer, right? But those kind of questions are called objective items. So it is objective to only one item. Okay, but there you can have a question like a descriptive item, short answer item, then MCQ item, then completion item, then matching item. Like you can have item within that. Okay, so in the objective type item only itself, you can have a descriptive. You can have a descriptive, then short. Okay, then MCQ. In MCQ itself, you can have various types. These types are there. Okay, so like you can have a different item. At the same time, you can have a question paper, I mean question items. That question items can be subjective in nature. What is the meaning of subjective? Actually, you are putting some condition. You are preparing a question and you are giving some conditions. For those conditions, I have to come out with the solution. Okay, so question subjective item where prepare a problem for certain conditions. Students have to, for a problem, give the solution, have to provide the solution for the problem. Okay, so this is another kind of a question item. So by the way, once I am preparing a certain conditions, I cannot expect that all the students will give the same kind of a solution. One student may give a one, maybe not more than 10 or 20, maybe at least 2 to 3 kind of solution I may get. Okay, 2 to 3 kinds of solution I may get. So what is the meaning is, yes, at one kind of a student give one kind of, but among the 2 to 3, maybe some solution may be the best solution. But you see what you are doing, you are making the student to think and provide the solution. You are making the students to think and provide the solution. For example, I asked the student to prepare a topology. Prepare a topology. Maybe I am giving the computer science exam. Prepare a topology for an organization. Okay, which is having around 500 computers in 6 floors or in 8 floors. Okay, 8 floors. So there are 8 floors, and it is a vertical building where I have a 500 computers in a different cabins. So prepare a topology for the establishing the connectivity. So I can add some more conditions in this problem, so that which kind of topology may suit to establish the network. I cannot go always with the star topology. Then 500 cable has to go from the core switch. I cannot go with the somehow maybe some student may think that star topology where I have a core switch 500 port, how can I go? So 2 port from there star like it will go. Somebody will think about ring topology, right? Somebody will think about bus. See how somebody will do the hybrid ring and the star. They will do such a way how they are coming with the solution. So that is, everyone will think by their own way and they are coming out with the solution. So that items are different in nature. Okay. Again, in the subjective item, you can have a descriptive, you can have a short item, then you can have a what is called MCQ item. Doesn't mean that a subjective item I cannot set the short answer item or descriptive item or MCQ. In both cases, you can set the all kind of item. Descriptive item you can set, and short answer item you can set, and MCQ item you can set. So fundamentally we have to understand this. So once you understand this, then I will go to different kind of questioning we can ask in the lesson. Actually, I don't want to go all these things directly. I can go to the assessment component, which we can do with that. Actually, these are the things already discussed in your schedule. I have seen that schedule, right? Actually, you had a discussion about examination reforms where AICTE has provided the document. So in that document, they have given the details about what is the program outcome. So for the program outcome, what are the competencies need to be developed? But again, there are a different opinion among the faculty members and the experts how we can go for this kind of structure. But it is accepted by the committee, and that is released in the AICTE portal. And what exactly the meaning is, every graduate must have competency. Okay, every graduate must have a competency that is called the graduate attributes. We say the graduate attributes we connected as a program outcome. See, it is nothing but any object or any product, I can say. For example, you consider a mobile phone, or you consider a pen, or you consider a monitor, or you consider a computer. Each one has its own attributes, or I can say its own characteristics, right? So the mobile must satisfy their characteristics, its own characteristics. Otherwise, it is not considered as a mobile. And the characteristics or the attributes may vary over the mobile phone, different mobile phone. So based on that characteristics and attributes, we identified that some of the mobile phone or this kind of a mobile phone is the suitable for this condition, or suitable for this person, suitable for this requirement, like I identified. I cannot say that all the mobile phones suitable for all the people. How? It is not at all possible. I think you are all, see the market. You are all see the market. It is a segmented market. For example, Apple mobile phone, is it suitable for all kind of segment? No, it is not suitable for all segment. It is only suitable for upper middle and upper class people. Okay, lower middle, lower class, maybe lower class in the sense lower income group. I'm not saying that discrimination. I don't think that I'm discriminating. Maybe that segment, that Apple mobile phone may not suitable to the segment of the people lower income group or lower what is a little bit upper group. It is only for upper middle income group and upper income group. So the market itself having a segment like this, which is targeting to a few customers. So you just to think about it, I am having the product, so that product should satisfy the requirement of the individual. Then only the individual will get satisfied. The same way, as you are institution, you are producing the graduates. Okay, you are producing the graduates. The graduates must satisfy the requirement. What way? The graduate must have some attribute. Okay, then only I can accept that the graduate is suitable to my requirement. right? So those attributes are called graduate attributes. So the graduate attributes again inherited as a program outcome for a particular program. So those programs has certain competencies. Those program, for example, one of the program called computer science and engineering. So the computer science and engineering has program outcome. Okay. Then another program is having the electrical and electronics engineering. So electronics and communication engineering, and electrical and electronics engineering, or chemical engineering, or biotechnology, or environmental engineering. So each engineering program has its own program outcome, right? Because those graduates have a set of attributes. Okay, I cannot say that all the graduates are having the same attribute. Maybe some of the attributes are common as an engineer. As an engineer, some of the attributes are common. For example, as an engineering graduate, I must be strong in the mathematics. Okay, I must be strong in the mathematics. So I must aware of why I have to go for example, today we are talking about distribution. Assume that is distribution. When I have to go to binomial, then Poisson, or any kind of distribution. So a mathematician should be very, an engineer must be very strong in mathematics. Maybe that attribute may be common to everybody, but some specific attributes related to the program. So that graduate very strong in those attributes. So those attributes, when I say as general, but how it can be linked with the learning outcome, how it can be linked with the learning outcome. So how it can be linked with the assessment. So that document released by AICTE. Okay, that document released by, maybe I will show you the page. I will show examination reforms document. By AICTE. Okay, by AICTE. So if you take this PDF file, so it is released in November 2018, and they have a complete detail, right? So in this document, they have given the computer science examples. They have given. See, this is the diagram what I have shown to you. So this diagram is connecting. Actually, the PO is there. So from the PO, how I have to check that the student is having the, or I can say that the particular competency achieved by the individual. Okay, how I have to ensure that by the assessment. Okay, so continuous internal exam or semester end exam. Actually, CIE, SEE, what they mention is continuous internal exam and semester end exam question, projects or lab assignment rubrics. So how it has to be verified. So they are having the connectivity. So in the connectivity, they have given that, for example, if this is the program outcome, that is the engineering knowledge is the program outcome. Okay, engineering knowledge is the program outcome. So engineering knowledge is having some competency. So what are the competency? Competency 1, 2, 3, like they have divided. So like classified like demonstrate competency in mathematical modeling, demonstrate competency in basic sciences, demonstrate competency in engineering fundamentals, demonstrate competency in specialized engineering knowledge to the program. So like they are dividing the particular program outcome as a list of competency. So each competency must have some measurable outcome, or I can say as an indicator. So apply mathematical techniques such as calculus, linear algebra, and statistics to solve the problem. If I am giving a problem, so this is the indicator. How this indicator will be verified? I have to set the question in the statistics. For example, I am asking the student if when I will get the what is called when I will get the normal, what is the difference between normal and skewness. Normal distribution and skewness. I can skew. with respect to mean, median, and mode. Okay, so suppose I'm giving this kind of a question. So write the difference between, write the difference.
Sir, your writing, I think whiteboard is not visible to us, sir. We can able to see the file.
I am sharing the whole screen to you.
Actually, sir, there is some problem. You will share individual file at a time only.
Let me stop sharing again. I will share. I am sharing the entire screen. Okay, sir. Share the entire screen. Now is it visible to you?
Not yet, sir.
Actually, I'm opening the notepad. Entire screen. I have not shared only one screen. Whole screen I am sharing. Again, I will share. Actually, so that I can migrate from one share tray, meeting Microsoft Teams. This is the screen window. Desktop, whole desktop I am sharing. Whole desktop I am sharing. Now whole desktop is shared. So now we'll be able to see the presentation?
Sir, not yet, sir.
No, maybe sir, you check at your side. Now the presentation is shareable.
Yes, sir. Okay. PO1 engineering knowledge something. This slide is coming.
Now the notepad is visible to you or not, sir?
Yeah, question items, objective type question.
Yeah, this is what I have done. So now write the difference between normal and skewed distribution with respect to mean, median, and mode. See, why I am giving this question, actually you see here, the indicator is nothing but apply mathematical techniques such as calculus, linear algebra, and statistics to solve the problem. This is the indicator. So to check whether the student achieved the particular what is called a competency, whether the individual is having the competency or not, the student is having the competency or not, right? So what is the indicator? They have to solve the problem of these things. Okay, apply the mathematical techniques for the solving. So I have to prepare the question. So that is what, the final one. So here I have to prepare the assessment. So the question papers I have to prepare, question item I have to prepare. The question item indirectly say that the particular indicator, and it is again in turn say that the particular competency, and it is in turn say that the particular program outcome. Suppose if I set this kind of a question like 10 questions, okay, so those 10 questions indication, performance indicators of all the competency 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, all the things, and in turn the program outcome one was achieved by the student. Okay, so that is what the stages. This is what the stages. So ultimately, which one is very much important? Your question item is very much important. The question item only in turn satisfying the performance indicator, satisfying the competency, satisfying the program outcome. Okay, so how you have to set the question paper so that that indicators reflected. So that way, setting the item is very much important. Setting the question item is very much important. So once you are going to set the question item, you can conduct the assessment in 2 ways. You can conduct the assessment by 2 ways. Actually, they said that CIE, according to AICTE, they say that continuous internal examination and SCE, what is called a semester end examination. Okay, semester end examination. Actually, continuous internal examination is more powerful. The reason is, may I know what is the reason? Actually, I should not say which one is more powerful, but what is the benefit of continuous internal exam and the semester end exam? Can you just any participant, can you share your idea? Continuous internal examination. What is the purpose of continuous internal examination? Participant, anybody can throw a light on it? What is the purpose of, why don't we have only semester end examination? Why we have to go for continuous internal examination?
Sir, because I think one of the reasons is that once candidate goes from student goes from for the examination, he becomes at least updated with whatever is taught till now. So and it's studies like distributed, so it remains in his mind, and better understanding is done by the student for long time.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Sir, can you please tell me your name, sir?
Dr. Prabhakar Tiwari.
Wonderful, sir. Dr. Wonderful. Actually, see how the student, strong in the content. How the student strong in content. Wonderful, wonderful. Anyone? Please throw a light. Why? What is the purpose, sir? Sir, in fact, most of our time, or 50% of our time, or I can say to 30% of our time, we are spending on assessing their assignments, internal exam, answer script, all the things. Okay. So we are spending a lot of time on this. But is it necessary? Why don't we have the end examination? There we can have 100% question, 100 marks. Why we are saying that 30 marks or 50 marks internals and 50 marks in external? What is the purpose? Yes. So sir gave a very nice explanation. Anybody, can you throw on light? Anybody, anyone else, please? Anyone else, please? I hope most of you listening, or I can put in any activity so that you can join that activity. I could understand that how many of you joining. Maybe just to see whatever. See, we are all in the system. We are all in the system. The purpose of continuous internal assessment. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Sir.
Yes, madam. Please, madam.
In my perspective, continuous evaluation is necessary for students as well as for we teachers, as it evaluates them at their learning and remembering point and evaluates us how can we improve further.
Wonderful answer. Actually, it's a wonderful answer. Actually, she put a word, the word exactly they used in the answer. One is, it is used for, okay, students and the teachers. Wonderful word she used for improvement. See, what is the meaning is? Actually, as a student, I have to adjust myself in my learning. What is adjustment? I'm having some feedback from my teacher. When I get the feedback, if the student assessing directly or indirectly, okay. See, don't think that assessment means only we do through question papers. No, even a teacher is monitoring the student, observing the student. That's itself assessment. Okay. So teacher, see what exactly the assessment. Assessment is collecting the data and providing the feedback. Otherwise, I cannot consider this as assessment. See, only collecting the data. What data I am collecting? See, I am only observing the student. So you are collecting some data. See, observing the student means you are verifying whether the student is listening in my class or not. Okay, the student is listening or not. All the things, see, by observation you are doing. Okay, and you are conducting some test, right? Then the student answered, and you are maybe it may be an online test or it may be an offline test, where you are evaluating the script and you are getting the answer, the marks. Again, that is collecting the data. But if you are simply giving the data back to the student, it is not assessment. It is not an assessment. An assessment is nothing but you are collecting the data and you are giving the feedback. That feedback may be an individual feedback to the student, okay, a specific feedback to the student, or it may be a feedback to a group of students, or it may be the feedback for the entire class. So that is what is called the impact of an assessment. So collecting the data and giving the feedback for what? It is absolutely for the improvement. So it is nothing but I wanted to adjust myself. So that adjustment, that feedback, sometimes it is giving to the teacher. Okay, the feedback or the data, or I can say the data, it is giving the adjustment to the teacher when I have to change the strategy of my delivery. Okay, so my delivery is not suitable to my students, so that all my students are not doing well in my exam. So sometimes the data reveals some feedback and it will give you some indication to the teacher to change the strategy, or sometimes the marks are, it is like a normal distribution, or it is like some students are not good. So those students adjust themselves where they are poor and how to improve their learning. So that way that feedback will help them. Then only it is called assessment. So always we have to give the space for the student for improve in their learning. So whenever you wanted to provide the space for the student to improve in their learning, then without assessment it is not possible. So why? Because the teacher could teach the subject, that teacher has to give the feedback. Someone cannot give the feedback. Okay, someone cannot see the mark and give the feedback. No, mark alone not, collecting the data in the sense, you set the question paper, you teach the subject, you collect the data, and you are a right person to give the feedback. Okay, so that is the reason continuous assessments are, coordinated by the teacher themselves, and the teacher is giving the feedback. That is more powerful. That is more powerful because you are providing the space for the learners for their improvement. You are providing the space for the learners for providing the improvement. Once the students are improving themselves, okay, in their learning, then finally you are going for what is called a semester end examination, where you are giving some certain what is called importance on the end exam. So you are giving the importance of continuous assessment as well as end assessment, right? Maybe if I am not performing not well in assessment 1, then I have a I have improvement in my own learning strategies. Then I have improved myself. Then in second assessment I did well, so I scored more mark. Then I did in the third assessment I did well, I scored more mark. In many institutions and many university, what they are doing, they are conducting 3 assessment. Then best of the 2 assignments out of 3, best 2 assignments out of 3, they are considering for calculating internal mark. So I am performing well. Then I have scored good internal mark. Then I am going to appear for end examination where I scored good mark. Then my grade is improved. So such a way, when we do continuous internal examination and a continuous end examination, actually instead of I can say examination, I have to say as internal assessment. Internal assessment is a more appropriate word. So once I do that assessment, you can do the assessment in 2 ways. One is called a direct method of assessment, and another one is called indirect method of an assessment. So what is the meaning? What is the meaning? See, when the learning is, when I can say learning is perfect. Learning is perfect. Okay. So when the learning is perfect, see, the learning plus learning piece. Okay, so learning component, what I learned, okay, what I learned, then plus learning experience. Okay, the 2 things are very much important. See, today many institutions are popular among the in the country. Okay, many institutions, many universities are very popular in the country, and many students always looking for the admission in those institutions, okay, or universities. Why? Because the students, once they become a graduate, their learning experience, actually it is what is called, they are having a very good learning experience in the institution. That learning experience is shared to their working environment, in their working environment, and they are part of again as alumni in the institution. And this kind of a sharing of the learning experience over the period, giving the good name, giving the good identity for the institution. See, all we are teaching, all the faculty members are teaching, all the institutions are producing the graduates, but all the institutions are not notable, or all the institutions are not unique in their nature. Some institutions popular, this is only because of the graduates. How? Because these graduates are having the good learning experience, that learning experience shared among the friends, in the working environment, with the the students once they become alumni. So this kind of sharing only bringing their uniqueness of the institution, that learning experience is very much important in the learning. Okay, so learning need to be demonstrated. Yeah, always your learning need to be demonstrated. Okay, then learning experience to be right. Okay, I think I can give a very good example to you. I think suppose I do not know in Delhi and in your place, but in Chennai or particularly in Tamil Nadu or South India, if you see some news channel, a new film released, whether it may be a Kamal Haasan film or Rajinikanth film or anybody popular actor's film released. Then after the release, somebody will go for the interview with the mic, and you see they will ask the question, how is the film? Okay, how is the film? How was the film? Like they asked the question, and whoever the viewers, they came and they said wonderful, excellent, very nice, superb, and we can see with the family. Like I enjoyed, like they described. This is what is called experience. Wonderful. Sometimes we go to the hotel and we ordered the food. After the we took the food. Suppose I asked the person, how was the food? Then you say wonderful, like you are giving. Then you are attending some lecture and I'm asking after the lecture, how was the lecture? Wonderful lecture. Okay, that is what is called your experience on that particular learning. Then I asked the question, what you learned, then you are demonstrated or you are explained. Okay, so this is what I have learned. This is what I have learned. Now I know how to solve this problem. So this is what I demonstrated. And you are at the end, you are saying as experience as a wonderful, very nice. No. That lecture was not that much good. So like you are giving your experience, right? So what we are doing, whenever we are talking about any learning outcome, okay, or learning component, the learning component always consisting of these two, what is called learning experience and the learning component. So the learning is always need to be demonstrated and learning experience need to be described. So that how we assess. We assess by two ways. One is called a direct method of assessment, which is nothing but demonstrated. So ultimately you could understand that direct method of assessment is to assess the learning. So what are all the abilities developed among the students, right, during the learning. And the indirect method of assessment is assessing the learning experience. Okay, so actually as a faculty member, most of the time we are concentrating on direct assessment. Maybe on few occasions we are going for indirect method of assessment. So in the direct method of assessment, what we do, most of the time we are conducting the test, okay, on course embedded assessment. What course embedded assessment? Maybe some assessment, internal assessment we are conducting, maybe assessment 1, then assessment 2, assessment 3, like you are giving. And again, what you are giving some assignments. Okay, you are giving some assignments as assignments. Okay, assignments you are giving, right? There are different ways you are giving the assignments. This is what most of the time you are doing during the course. Then you conduct the standardized test with some conditions. What conditions? See, standardized test in the sense question paper printed and it is following the control of examination norms, and that question paper in fact scrutinized, and that question paper executed, and a 3-hour exam, the students are writing the exam. Okay, so somebody is coming for the supervising. So all the things are conducting the standardized test. Okay, so the two things, in fact predominantly we are doing during the course. Apart from that, what we do something else also, like portfolio assessment, case studies, class project, capstone project, internship evaluation, thesis evaluation, project report evaluation. All these things we do through direct assessment, but some of them they are doing all these things. Few of them may not do all the things. Okay, so few of them always engaged with only these two kind of activity. But all these are all direct assessment. But in the direct assessment, setting the item is very much important. What is item? Item is the question item. Then in the indirect assessment method, most of the time, actually indirect assessment means don't think that it's completely what is called opposite to that. Okay, don't think that it's opposite. See, whenever we do types or classification, this is one direction, this is another direction. That is what the normal thinking. No, these are all not two directions. Maybe these are all two types only. This is complementing this. Again, this is also complementing this. Okay, it is not that these are all two completely independent. In fact, indirect method of assessment complementing to direct method of assessment. See, then only I can say as whole learning is perfect. Then only I can say the whole learning is perfect. I cannot say that the two things are two different directions. Okay, so that is the way we have to understand. So indirect method of assessment that requires faculty infer actual student ability, knowledge and values rather than observe direct evidence. So here we are not observing the direct evidence. We are getting the, by observation, by attitude. Okay, so some kind of what is called a survey. So most of the time, this will be achieved through what? Surveys, then exit interviews, then focus group. Sometime, I am a member of many institution as a board of studies member. So in the board of studies member, they will give the details how they do indirect assessment. So they have some special interest group, SIG, they call as a SIG, special interest group. So the course faculty is also part of the special interest group. So they will do the survey. Exit interview, right? Focus group, and the external reviewers is also there. So they will do that activity. So that activity will reveal the experience of the learning, and these are all the activities will reveal the experience of the demonstration of the learning, right? So now let us just see the assessment plan, then we will go for what is called setting the question paper. So normally whenever you are going to prepare the assessment plan, the first thing is learning outcome. Okay, the first thing is learning outcome. So learning outcome is very much important. What way it is very much important? Actually, here you see, this is what you are explaining, the indicators. The indicators only I am considering here as a learning outcome. Okay, the indicators only I am considering as a learning outcome. If you are good in the preparation of the learning outcome, then it is easy for you to set the question paper. It is easy for you to set question item. Why? Because you take a notebook and you can type any question. You can write any question. Okay, you take a notebook and write any question. The question you can divide as a two component. One is called ability expected. On what content the ability expected. Maybe very simple question I can say. Define Ohm's law. Okay, define Ohm's law. Be very simple question. Define Ohm's law. Ohm's law. Like I am putting the question. Or I can configure or design a low pass filter, blah 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 with the conditions by following the conditions like I am giving. So here what exactly the define is nothing but you are looking for define ability. So define is what kind of ability? It is like a remember ability. So then design means it is little bit understanding as well as application ability. So fully higher level of understanding or little bit application level of ability. So what ability need to be developed? So that is what is called the first component. Then on what content? Here it is Ohm's law. So Ohm's law is content. Here low pass filter with the details with the following condition, that is a content. So any question is nothing but ability expected plus on content. The same you see any outcome, any learning outcome you see, when I say as an indicator, again, this is describe. Okay, this is the what is called the ability, and analyze is the ability, then identify is the ability, use is the ability, on financial cost, benefits engineering activity. This is the content, right? And what is called implement the norms. Implement is the ability, effective teamwork, right? Then what is called identify or describe is the ability, on engineering roles pertaining to protection and public interest, right? Suppose I can say synthesize is the ability, on requirements of review of state of art, or elicit is the ability, requirements of from the stakeholders, right? So whenever you see that learning outcome, the learning outcome again talking about these two components only, right? Again talking about the two components. What are all the components? Ability, then on what content? Ability on what content? So yes, please, yes, please, yes. Anything else?
I think somebody has unmuted, sir.
Okay, sir. So this is what very much important. This is what very much important. So when we talk about assessment plan, first we have to prepare the learning outcome, because the question is again the learning outcome, both are complement to each other. If you are very perfect with the learning outcome, then your question paper setting is it's just like that. It's just like that. If you are not good in preparation of the learning outcome, then definitely you will struggle in preparing the question paper, because this is what the diagram also says. This is what the diagram says. So the diagram, what it says, your assessment is perfect. Your assessment is perfect when your indicators, competency are properly prepared. So if this competency and indicators are not properly prepared, again, see how the transition will go. That definitely the transition will be the issue there. Definitely the transition will be issue there. So this is what the first, what is called the component. The second component is which assessment method I have to use. Then for which learning outcome, that assessment method, then collection of information. So that is what here I did. So here I have put some learning outcome, right? Then again, I have some learning outcome, okay, some sample learning outcome. So once I prepare the learning outcome, then for example, here I have a 9 learning outcome. So for the 9 learning outcome, 1 to 9, then what is the assessment method I follow? So for example, the 2 learning outcome, I am going to conduct the quiz to check whether the student achieved the outcome or not. Then for 3, 4, 5, I am using the standardized test. For 5, 6, 7, I am using the lab assessment. For 8, I am doing the capstone project. For 9, I am doing the seminar and assignment. Okay, so I am identifying this. So these are all the outcomes. For these outcomes, I am going to do this kind of a assessment method. So once this kind of assessment method, once I identify, then for this assessment method, what kind of a question item I have to set. So what are the different kind of question item? Once I talk about question item, maybe or I can say test item, right? The test items are 2 category fundamentally. Selection type, then I can say it is a supply type. Selection type, then I can say it's a supply type. So what is a selection type? Selection type means maybe a MCQ where I can give a what is called 4 options or 3 options or 5 options. The students, they have to select one right answer among the options. Or I can say true or false. Okay, where I am giving the statement, I am asking whether it's a true or false. The student, they have to select true, whether the statement is true or the statement is false. And the matching item, where I can have a what is called a premises, then responses. So I can have a premises, then I can have a response, right? So what are all the premises are there? Maybe 5 premises are there. Only 3 responses are there. Maybe 2 premises will go to 1 response. Okay, or 3 premises will go to 1 response. Or I can have a 3 premises, then 10 responses are there. Okay, 10 responses are there. Then 1 premises may go to these 3 response. Doesn't mean that, so always we should not think that matching means it's very simple. No, how I am going to make it, what is called, to make the student to think again. That is where the challenge of setting the question paper. So one premise may go for 3 response. Then one premise or 2 premise will go to 1 response. So totally you see, you are making the student to analyze the whole premises, analyze the whole responses, then they have to do the matching. So that is where the student thinking and doing, not just connecting. Sometimes whenever in the schools, I think still I remember when I was doing my schools in 1980s, okay, 1980s, the number of premises and the number of responses always most of the time it's same, right? Then I will do matching, last one, whichever left here, I will connect it. Okay, so what is the meaning? I am working only for 4 premises and 4 responses. The last one automatically get connected. But here I am not doing like that. Here I am not doing like that. Here I am giving the indication to the student. Yeah, one premise may have a more than 1 response, and more than 1 premise may have a single response. Like I can have an indication to the student so that I can make the student to analyze the whole premises and responses and answering for the matching item, right? Again, in MCQ also, there are a different kind of MCQs are there. Relationship analysis, K-type, multi-selection, right? So that is also now, the students are working on it. I mean, the faculty members are working on it and the students answering for that. Then single selection is a normal MCQ item. Once I go to supply type item, the students supply their answer with their own statement. Supply their answer with their own statement. There is no options for that. So their completion type. For example, completion type. There I can have a paragraph. How the completion type? Completion type is nothing but the fill in the blank. So fill in the blank means it's not simply like a fill in the blank as a simple item. So what I do, I have a paragraph. So in the paragraph there are so many blanks. Okay. But a blank may have more than 1 answer. A blank may have maybe 2 answers. Among the 2 answers, the student may write 1 answer. So this may be only 1 answer. This may be 2 answers. Okay, then the student can write among the 2 one. This may be 3 answers. The student has to write any one among the 3. So like I can have a completion type. So totally it's like a paragraph. At the end, once the student answers the whole paragraph, then it will be a one concept, right? Then short answer question like a define. Then long answer question like a design, a low pass filter or high pass filter. Then I'm giving a problem to the student. The student is giving the solutions for the problem. Even in the long answer question, I can have a structured essay, then what is called open-ended question paper, open-ended question. So such a kind of a thing I am doing here. So let me go with the maybe short answer question. What is the meaning? I think you are all aware what exactly the short answer question. Right? What is called define Poisson ratio, list 3 important use of poor conductors, state the principles, or write the 2 difference. Okay, like I can make a clarity, then I'm giving the short answer question. But there are some guidelines are there. There are many literatures are there, but NITTT is always working on the guidelines. It is not the rule. Rule means you must follow. But the guideline means it will improve your item. Okay, always I can say it's a guideline. So if you follow these guidelines, then it will improve your question item. What is the improvement? Actually, there is a 2, what is called, we can say that what is called, always whenever we are going for evaluation parameters. What is the meaning of evaluation parameter? I think you are all aware of evaluation parameter, right? Evaluation parameters. So evaluation parameter, technical people always say that's a matrix. Am I right? It's a matrix. So is it discussed about the metrics of your question paper? Participant, do you aware of what are the metrics? We can say my question paper is perfect question paper, or my item is improved item. My item is perfect quality. Okay, what are all the metrics? Do you have any idea? Can you throw the light on that? The metrics of an item. Metrics of an item. Participant, anybody? Maybe lunchtime. I am killing your lunch time. Okay, we used to say that I am making you angry. Okay, because of you are hungry. Right? You are all here during the lunchtime. Are you there, participant? Yes, actually, I wondered to see that at 12 to 1:30, because the participant will get angry, because of their hungry. I'm keep on engaging them with some kind of a questions. So I'm killing their time. But anyhow, anybody can you answer? What is the metrics? What way you can say, or your own words you can say how you say your question item is perfect. When you say your question item is perfect. Anyone can you? Maybe another 20 minutes. Another 20 minutes only I will engage you. Another 20 minutes I will engage you. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, yes. Anybody? No one. Yes, use the text. No one. Are you there? Are you listening? Are you listening my lecture? Yes. I think almost 45. Almost 47 participants are here. Yes, hope you are listening to me. Hope you are listening to me. Is it for that? No answer.
Yes, sir. So yes, we are listening.
Yes, thank you. Then what are the metrics? See, actually, an item is an improved item, or I can say my item is perfect. Then the metrics, the very important metrics is called validity. Okay, validity. Okay, validity of the individual. What's supposed to test? Okay, what's supposed to test? Right? Then the another important metric is called reliability. Okay, reliability. Okay, so these two are very important metrics. There are other metrics also, but these two are very important metrics. So when your item will satisfy these metrics, if your item is following the right guideline. Okay, so those guidelines, like for short answer item, we can have some guideline. Maybe I will share to the coordinator. Maybe the participants, you can get the guidelines from the coordinator. Okay, the guideline you can get it, and that will improve your item. Then what is the condition you have to use the short answer question? Okay, so for example, definition question, example question, relationship question, calculation question, some graphing or diagram oriented question. So these are all the time, or these are the scenario you can go for short answers question, right? When we talk about MCQ questions, see, nobody will say that you should not use MCQ in 2-mark question. Maybe you can have a 2 MCQ in your 2-mark question, so that the student, maybe number of item also get increased. When your number of item get increased, the sample, the question papers are the items. Okay, the items in the question papers are called sample. I think a participant, population and sample, right? Anybody? I think, do you have a difference? Do you know the difference between population and sample in the statistics? Yes? Anybody? Anyone? Can you tell about the difference between population and sample in statistics?
Sample is taken from the population.
Yes, wonderful, sir. Excellent. You see, suppose, is it possible to set the questions in the entire subject? See, in the entire subject, in the sense, every nook and corner, if you able to set the question, if you set the question, the number of questions may be maybe 200, 300 questions. Is it possible to execute the exam or conduct the exam for the continuous assessment or end examination with the 200 question or for 100 question? It is not at all possible. So it's a whole population, right? So what we do, whatever the item in your question paper, it is nothing but the sample. So if the students is doing good in this set of questions, it is indicating that the student is doing well in the particular subject. Okay, that is what the inference, right? So whatever the item you are going to put into the question paper, those items are called sample. And you must have appropriate sample or right sample. Okay, so that is what the validity says. The right sample. And the number of samples also matters. Okay, number of sample. And also we should not go with too much of sample, and also we should not go with the less amount of sample. Less amount of sample also will lead what is called error, and too much of sample is also lead to some what is called complexity, too much of complex. Okay, so appropriate sample I have to get. So why I am saying that sometimes we have a question only 10 mark, 10 mark question. Maybe I can increase the sample. Maybe 2 questions or 3 questions are 1 mark question. Then, or in the essay type of question, I can have a structured essay question where a 20 mark question can be, or a 16 mark question can be divided as a 10 8 mark question, or 1 10 mark, another 2 4 mark. There are 3 questions, maximum of 3, minimum of 2. Like I am 2 to 3 questions I can divide. So once I do like this, then number of samples is appropriate. These number of samples, good to assess the student knowledge with respect to cognitive, with respect to attitude, with respect to psychomotor, all 3. Okay, so MCQ is also play a major role, or sometime when you are conducting the online assessment, most of the time you are going for MCQ items. Okay, where you can have a different kind of item. Maybe a few example I can give. Maybe one example. We are using all of the above. So what is the problem of all of the above? Is it right? All of the above is right. Maybe certain conditions, all of the above we can go, but all of the above is not exactly right option when we go for all of the above. But when I wanted to go for all of the above, how we can restructure the question? So that is what I have given that example. So student merely need to recognize 2 correct options or 3 correct options, right? Then the 4th. See, suppose these 2 are correct, then ultimately I can go. I will not check with the third one, because both are exactly correct. Mean and median exactly correct, right? Ultimately, I am looking for all of the above. Okay, if 1 and 2 are the option, then I have to think about it, right? Suppose mean, median, mode, right? Then I am just thinking about mean and mode is correct, or mean is mode and correct, or median and mean is correct. Then ultimately I am thinking of all of the above. Okay, so students merely need to recognize only 2 correct responses. How that can be restructured? I can be restructured the same question in another way. So here also all of the above, here also, here also, here also. So among the 4, any one the student. So for all 3 options I am giving here, and the other kind of all 3 options I am giving here. So like I can restructure. Then none of the above, when it will be a problem, Actually, none of the above, I cannot ensure that the student will knew the answer for the correct that question. Okay, suppose I am giving none of the above, that may be a student selected the none of the above, doesn't mean that the student know the answer. Okay, for example, very simple question I am telling to you, how many colors in the rainbow? Okay, I am giving the answer like 4, 5, 6, none of the above. 4, 5, 6, none of the above. So most of the students select none of the above. Then I called one student, then asked the question like, you have given the right answer as none of the above. Now tell me how many colors. Suppose the student said 9 colors or 10 colors. So the student is looking for 9 or 10 in the list, but the 9 and 10 are not available in the list. So that the student selected none of the above, not because of the 7 colors. Okay, so none of the above, I cannot ensure that all the students who selected none of the above know the answer. That is the reason none of the above we have to avoid. Okay, none of the above. But when I can put the none of the above is the answer is available is in one of the option, then I can provide none of the above. The option is not available in the option, then none of the above will lead the confusion. So like there are some guidelines are there. Okay, grammatically fit, negative wording, watch out the process, timeline, pathway. Okay, then I know like some guidelines are there for the items which is going to MCQ short answer. Then guideline for structured essay question. Maybe when I am going for essay type of questions, we can have some guideline. For example, that question should not be tested with the short answer question, and and how it has to be scored. That is very much important. Then wording of the question, and that question must be unambiguous. Okay, so what is the ambiguity? Okay, ambiguity should not be there. So what is the meaning? Sometime the faculty member may write a question like discuss briefly, explain briefly, right? So explain briefly, explain itself, it's a brief. Discuss itself, it's a brief. Why we are giving the ambiguity? And sometimes we may not give, explain the architecture of something. But I never say that the diagram. But somebody using the diagram, somebody may not use the diagram, but explain wonderfully that architecture. So how I am giving the directions, and I am explaining within the 200 words or a paragraph or about 5 sentences or not exceeding 1 page, like I am giving that. I am not putting that the student in the false imagination. Well-defined limit I am giving in the my question. Then subdivisions, I am giving that maybe 11 question. In the 11 question, I can say 11A. There I can have like 3 questions. 1, 2, 3. 11B again 1, 2. Like I am giving the or part, either or, either or. In fact, open-ended I can go for either or. So like I am giving the increasing difficulty here. So the oneness in the A, oneness little bit, 2 little bit higher, 3 little bit higher. And the relationship among these 3 is there, but it's not too tightly coupled. Tightly coupled means what? Suppose if the student made the error in the first question, that error will be carried out in the second, and then the total thing will be spoiled. Little bit dependency is there, maybe same concept, but there is a relative relation is there, but not too much of one answer output is input of another question. Such kind of a thing I have to avoid, the increasing order of difficulty, right? Then another very important thing is, if I put the theory question here, what is the meaning? The student explained theoretically. Then here, if I put one problem, actually we do question paper auditing. When we do the question paper auditing, I have seen few question paper. One question is the theory question. Another question is like a wonderful problem. Wonderful problem they have explained and asked the student to give the solution. Mathematical problem. Okay. Now, during the auditing time, we see the student answer script. We always take top 25%, bottom 25%. The student are based on the score. But you see that even the student scored top 25%, most of the student answer only theory question, and maybe among the 25%, 1 or 2 only answered for the mathematical problem oriented question. So what is the meaning is, always the student wanted to play the safe role that if I explained here, I will get mark. If I made something wrong in the mathematical, then I will not get mark. Such a thing will be there. So that is a fear of failure. Fear of failure is there. So such kind of a thing I should not do. If that 11A is the theory question, then 11 in the either or type, 11B must be again the theory question only. If 11A is or 12A is the problem, okay, is the problem, then in the R, in the B should be always again it will be the problem. So here there is no option whether they have to solve this problem or this problem. Here they have to explain this theory question, this theory question. I should not combine one side problem, one side theory. Then the student always play safer side. And when I see the lower scorers question, they are selected the theory question only. But what they did, they put a lot of stories. Okay, we can say it's a gas. So story only is there, like explaining the statement again and again, the same thing they will explain. So that's the thing they will do. Okay, that is also we can avoid if I put this kind of things. Both are problem or both are theory. That way we can do. Then series of tasks, clear, unambiguous or specific. Okay, so relate the question as directly as possible. Actually, what I could understand, sometimes the teacher, they will set the question to show their competency. Actually, the question paper is not to show your competency. See, somehow your competency, what way? You can set the question that will make the student to think. It's absolutely fine. I'm not against to that. But it is not testing your knowledge. It is testing the student knowledge that we have to understand. Sometimes the student teacher, in the internal examination itself, we can understand that this question paper set by this person. If the student is able to identify the question paper set by this person, then what is the meaning is that the ability of the teacher is reflected in the question paper. So it is not to test the teacher knowledge. So try to have as direct as possible. Okay, so like guidelines are there. So based on the guideline, if you set the question, then your question paper will have perfect validity as well as the what is called the reliability in the scoring, right? So yesterday's session you had, once you had a clarity on the guideline, then you are going to set the question paper where you can have a what is called a table of specification, where you can have a table of specification. So this is related to what? This is related to your what is called assessment on standardized question paper, right? Once I wanted to go for your performance, okay, your activity, you are going for the lab, you are doing some performance, you are doing some activity. So that activity, how to assess, So for that assessment, we go for performance assessment. For that assessment, we are going for performance assessment. So any performance, it can be assessed by very popular tool, which is called rubric. And also we use, what is called a portfolio. 1 minute. So in the performance assessment, actually, normally you see for a student, you are all aware curricular activity. Okay, you are all having the curricular activity. Then you can have the co-curricular activity. Am I right? Co-curricular activity. Okay, then we can have an extracurricular activity. Okay, there are 3 activities. But what is happening? This activity is reflected very properly by the student mark sheet. So student is having the mark sheet, score sheet. So curricular activity will be reflected. This activity somehow reflected by the certificates, but this activity very rarely reflected by the certificate. So what is the meaning? Curricular activity, how much mark they scored during the examination, all the curricular activities, okay. But co-curricular activity, the student submitting the paper, the student, attending some event related to the academic, doing a project, going for intern, and they are doing the work perfectly. These are all the co-curricular activity, academic oriented. But the extracurricular activity is extension services. What is the extension services? Like reaching the rural community, or sometimes NSS student, or students are having the what is called social service. So those activity never reflected. It is reflected very few occasions. But sometimes those activities are doing in an organized manner. Okay, those activity also should be reflected. So all these things I wanted to bring in the portfolio. Right? This is what the portfolio assessment. But when I talk about rubric, completely, whenever I am talking about performance assessment, we can go for the rubric. Normally, you see, teacher evaluate student knowledge by what? By what they know, by question paper. Okay, and what knowledge will lead for some skills, and they have to do practice. It is not only I can wonderfully explain how to drive a car. So after wonderful explanation, after wonderful video, after wonderful all kind of words, communication skills, interaction, all I did. Finally, I'm giving the key to you, ask you to drive the car. Definitely will not. Okay, so skill needs some knowledge. Skill definitely needs some knowledge, and that needs some practice. Okay, so that practice need to be assessed. So what they can do with what they know. Okay, this is what performance assessment. So the universal tool called the rubric, but there are some scoring instrument called checklist and rating scale. The rating scale only called the rubric. Actually, rating scale is where you can have a holistic overall view. In fact, you are booking the cab, and you are booking something in the Amazon or something like an e-commerce site, and finally after the delivery you have to give the rating, right? So that rating is the overall rating you will give, 4 star, 3 star, 5 star, like you give. So that kind of a thing is called holistic rubric. But the analytic rubric means I am going for each and every criteria. For example, I am going to the hotel. I am asking that how was the food? The same question earlier I asked. Then you say wonderful. then I am asking each and everyone. So how was the really wonderful means the cost is appropriate. Then you say yes, for the food quantity the cost is appropriate. Sometimes what you will say, food is good, but the cost is too much. That is what you say. Okay, it is not exactly the cost. Okay, it is too much cost. Okay, then I will ask how the hygiene, then how the the humble of the serving of the food, and whether they are giving the curry or puriyal, whatever the rice, everything they will give additionally, and all the things, so many things I will ask. Okay, if you say all rating is very high, then it's wonderful. For few criteria, rating is very high. For few criteria, rating is very average. For few criteria, maybe always crowded, sir. Okay, then I will give I have to wait for a long time. For taking a food, I'm spending 45 minutes. For waiting, I spend 1 hour. Okay, so I am giving a poor rating for them. So overall, I am going to calculate with all the criteria. Maybe this total will come to average, not as a wonderful. Okay, so that way, analytic rubric means I am taking each and every criteria, then I am giving the rating. Holistic rubric means I am giving the overall rating for the particular activity. That is what is called holistic and analytic. Then checklist means for any activity, there is a single point checklist or a 2-point checklist. Like I can have it. So starting how it is, ending how it is. So your activity having a series of tasks. Okay, task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4. This is the activities. It's a series of tasks. So when the task 1 start, end. Task 2 start, end. So this is called a checklist. I think in the industries, they follow this kind of a checklist. Maybe today they have to start the sequence of tasks, or a boiler need to be on, or a compressor need to be on. So when the compressor need to be on, immediately I should not check the compressor to on. Or when the motor, high power motor, I have to on. Immediately I will not on the motor. I have to do the series of tasks. So the checklist I will put a tick, 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 tick. Finally, I will go on the switch on. So this is a checklist when I am doing some activity. So that activity I am going to make the student to do in the real-time laboratory. Then I am giving the checklist. Sometimes we do some simulation. Okay, then I am asking the student, you have to do the checklist. Then finally you have to take the reading. So don't directly go and take the reading. Then that will lead some error. So that kind of a checklist I am giving. So this is what is called a scoring instrument. This is what is called the scoring instrument. And there are many. This is the what is called analytic rubric where rating scale. So this is what is called the 5-point rating scale, and there I can have a criteria. So there you can have it, and this is what is called holistic rubric rating scale. You wanted to give 5 or you wanted to give 1, then what is the description? If overall view I will give, then I can give 5. Overall I can give, then I can say 4. So this is holistic description. But here it's not a holistic description. Each criteria I have to say good. So this criteria I have to say very good. This criteria I have to say need to improve. So overall I am calculating the that. See, this is the qualitative. Finally, I bring the qualitative value as a quantity. So that quantity may give maybe out of 100, it may give 78. Okay, so then I can say it is above average. Such a way I can do the rubric. So this is, you can use the performance assessment. So participants, hope I have given somehow that idea about the items as well as the performance assessment. I'm very happy to have some interactions. I'm happy to have some interactions. Maybe you take my mail ID if you have any clarifications regarding this, particularly an assessment, because I have given the MOOCs, I have little bit experience. I'm not saying that I'm expert. Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm still learning a lot. I have some expertise. With that expertise only, I'm offering the course. You want, even I can take your input for improve my my course. Okay, so please, if you have any clarification or you wanted to give any input, kindly you contact through my email like shanidhi@nittrc.ac.in, or you take my mobile number to have something. Okay, so with this I will conclude my session. If I'm happy to answer if for any questions, if I know the answer. Okay, otherwise I will give you the answer maybe 1 hour, today evening or tomorrow. Yes, participant, please.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Participants.
Yes.
Participants, if you have any task.
Yeah, any query I can answer. One or two query. Maybe. I do not know whether I talk very fundamentally. I gave a lecture. Actually, I plan to have some demonstration, but I unable to do for no. Yes, please. Any question, I will answer it.
Participants, please. You just unmute yourself.
Sir, you are taking the lunch time of the participants and you are asking them. Actually, now they have a question. What time Shanmuganidhi leave us? That is what the question. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for your patient listening. Maybe in another occasion we will meet in person and we will do some.
Yes.
Yes, sir. It's a great privilege to welcome you, sir, at our campus MIT.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the invitation. Definitely, sir. I will come once to your institute and I will deliver.
Sure, sir. So thank you very much, sir, once again for accepting our invitation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. May I leave, sir?
Yeah, sure, sir. So participants, there is one